Hey guys, Captain Gimpy here. Before the episode gets started, I wanted to let you know about a video that sort of highlights the reason Ian Hamilton got into this. I couldn't find the exact footage he watched, which I wanted to, but that really wasn't happening. So I found a video called "To Game Developers from Gamers with Accessibility Needs." I'll put that down in the description. And as always, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you on the flip side. Hey, I'm Captain Gimpy, and welcome to this edition of Gimpy Bytes. I think, what is this, like episode 5?
Yes, episode 5.
Dude, that's crazy. We've been doing this for like over a month now.
Yeah.
Congratulations to you and myself.
By the way, I'm Zen Burro.
I'm, of course, Captain Gimpy, and this is the only place that I'm aware of that combines disability and gaming into one fine point on the space-time continuum. And we have a really cool, like, profile story sort of thing to do for you today.
Yes, his name is Ian Hamilton.
So, why don't you tell us about Ian Hamilton?
So, he's a game accessibility advocate, and if you've been watching this channel, game accessibility is about making games more accessible to those with physical disabilities.
Or impairments, whichever kind of language you prefer. I don't tend to be angry at either one, but some do. So.
Yeah, that's for a different video. But he's an advocate for disabled gamers, and he is also a consultant for making games more accessible. Like, he'll go to these companies like Rockstar and advise them on how to make their games more enjoyable to play for disabled gamers.
Awesome. The interesting thing about Ian Hamilton is that in a Polygon article that we kind of pulled stuff from for the last episode, I believe,
yeah,
it was actually mentioned that in the beginning he had family members with disabilities, but he never really thought about video games and accessibility and how those two things intersected. And I can't really say I blame him, because a lot of people, they think accessibility just entails like having ramps in public places.
It's far more nuanced than that.
So what happened, was he always a games accessibility expert, by the way?
No, he was not. He actually used to work for the BBC, and what he did specifically was he designed their websites.
And later, their video games, because they used to have BBC video games to entice you to go visit their website. And back in the day, they used to have their own computer games division, by the way. I thought that was a little interesting tidbit of trivia. During the reign of the Sinclair ZX80?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that was it.
So, during his tenure at BBC, he was exposed to some footage that showed people with severe motor impairments who otherwise would be, like, socially left out, I suppose, being able to, like, commingle with their peers, all because they were crowded around some video games. And that's when he finally made the personal connection that accessibility isn't just about the ramps, it's about making culture accessible to as many people as humanly possible. And video games, whether you like to believe it or not, is a part of our culture.
Yeah.
And it's an $80 billion a year global industry. It surpasses both the film industries and porno.
I do have a quote about Hamilton's views on video games.
Go for it.
Yes. He says, "Gaming is used for everything from escapism to empowerment, physiotherapy to simply being able to take part without being judged on anything other than your own merits. What games actually represent is access to culture, recreation, and socializing, all essential parts of quality of life. So through being accessible to disabled gamers, gaming can make a profound difference to people's lives."
Yeah. On a personal note, that tends to resonate pretty deeply with me, because being a disabled child growing up, my family was extremely protective And as such, I wasn't really able to have like very many friends come over, and I wasn't really allowed to go to their houses. They were afraid that things would happen to me. I'm not saying I never did, but they were really, really afraid, and I was an only child, so my childhood was spent playing video games, and that gave me many, many, many hours of enjoyment and skipping class when I probably should have gone. If my mom's watching this, she already knows, and she laughed about it when I told her. So I thought that was pretty funny. Another cool thing is that like he made freely available an accessibility guidelines. I don't know what to call it, like compendium.
Guess you could call it that.
He made several resources available publicly for free for developers who are concerned about making their games more accessible to players with various kinds of impairments.
Yeah.
One of the things that he first related games accessibility to was the fact that he's colorblind, and he had difficulty distinguishing friend from foe in many common first-person shooters because blue and red, hello, are the two most common colors that affect color blindness in the 8% of the population that it does affect. Think about it, that's almost 1 in every 10 people is colorblind.
Yeah, you'd be shooting allies and enemies.
Yeah, I was telling Zen Burro over here about the fact that I don't play Counter-Strike Online ranked anymore because I actually get kicked off servers because I have a hard time distinguishing friend from foe because, dude, that game uses like muddy colors, and from far away, literally everybody looks the same.
Yeah.
So I just shoot whatever moves. Like, that's...
Can't really blame you because I actually have the same problem.
Yeah,
I'm
dude.
looking for it, I was like, is that my enemy or is that?
And mind you, I've been playing Counter-Strike since version 1.6, and I still have that problem. So now I play with bots and people.
Yeah, and also to give you an idea of what game accessibility is, it's more than just adding like color filters to your game. It's also
button remapping.
Button remapping. It's also offering different audio options like mono versus stereo, or what's another one?
Closed captioning.
Closed captioning for those who are deaf or hearing impaired.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is very overlooked.
And I mentioned this previously, but there's also the idea of one switch gaming or one button mode that puts as many functions that are contextually sensitive as possible into essentially one button or as few buttons as possible so that people who are motor impaired can still enjoy video games. Hint, hint, I have CP and it's a motor impairment. Hello. Like, that would be nice if more games supported it. On a side note, the article also mentioned how poorly Dark Souls actually is in terms of accessibility options. I mean, come on, dude, it's not a real MMO, but there's no pause function, and the whole game is like bonfire save. And I understand that part of the quote-unquote charm is the bad game design that we left behind in the 1980s, but that was because of technical limitations, not because it was perceived to be something good for a game to not be able to save. That's why we have password save functions, because people knew that saving was important.
Yeah, you don't want to start over from the beginning. I just don't want to play anymore.
I mean, if you do that like 50 to 100 times in one sitting, you're like, screw this game. And then it's going to color everything about your experience, and you're going to relate it back to the developer, unfortunately, but that's what happens for a lot of people. One of the best examples of accessibility that I've seen is actually, I mentioned this before too, because you know, I recently found out Bayonetta 2 has a one button mode. It's called automatic mode, and all the blocks, dodging, and the gunplay and whatnots can be done in that mode with a single button, making it very, very easy for people with motor impairment to enjoy all the content of Bayonetta 2. And I want that game so bad, but I don't want a Wii U. So if any of you out there wants to donate a Wii U
Yeah.
so I can play the game? I'll play it for you, and I'll record it. I'll buy a capture card, and I will record me playing Bayonetta 2. Not that I expect it, but hey, I'm gonna put it out there.
Yeah.
Robert Kingett was also mentioned in this article, and he is a journalist who also has CP. He also is partially blind and has a slight hearing impairment.
Yeah.
And he talked about the value of video games as an escape because he grew up in a, let's say, less than kind environment, particularly when it came to his disability. His mother would criticize and ridicule him, and he often said that he used it as a means of escape. But not only that, he learned systems thinking and problem solving through video games. Now, that's another thing that resonates very, very strongly with me, because most of my problem solving skills are beast.
Yes.
And I learned them by failing over and over in my favorite video games. Like, I learned to be like, okay, if this doesn't work, I need to change this, this, and this about my approach. Or maybe there's something I miss. And I tend to have like a super critical eye when I play games and when I do most things, not in a hurry.
And also, Kingett is a big Hamilton fan.
Yes, he is. By the way, Mr. Kingett, I'm going to email you very, very soon, and I'm probably going to send you a link to this video. I just want to make this better. I want to make this show better. I want to present more diverse content and touch on more important issues as related to accessibility in video games, because quite obviously it's something that affects me and a lot of other people very, very directly. The U.S. Census Bureau, to give you an idea about how important accessibility should be in a broad sense, the U.S. Census Bureau estimates that roughly 20% of Americans have some form of quote-unquote disability. And think about that. So if you're in a room with, let's say, 500 people,
Yeah.
right? How many people are affected with a disability? You want to do math? Math?
Oh god, math stuff.
100 of those people have a disability, according to the U.S. Census. So if every 100 out of 500 people have a disability, why not make things more accessible, man? I mean, it's not a tiny issue affecting a small portion of the population. Last I checked, 1 in 5 was a pretty big chunk.
Yeah.
If you're at one of those pizza places that likes to offer you big slices, that's basically a fifth of your pizza, dude. Like, you look at it, you take a piece, and then you're like, God, I ate too much pizza, and you really just ate one. But that's what happens. So, do you have anything else? Anything else? Anything else?
Well, I'm very fascinated with Hamilton because, like we just mentioned, he didn't really think about it, and it's when he saw a video of those disabled children playing, mind you, motor impaired, they had buttons on their headrest or tubes to blow in.
I've actually seen that, and it's pretty damn cool.
Yeah, try to find videos about that, like motor impaired children who use those type of devices in order to play video games. It's actually really cool.
I'm actually going to put a couple links in the description, so you know, for the lazy non-Googlers out there whose Google foo isn't very strong, you can just click down below.
Yeah, so check that out. Check out Ian Hamilton. He has Twitter. We'll have that down.
And as always, one of the charity organizations I like to constantly push is Able Gamers, because that's their entire function. Like, that's what they want to do, is make video games more accessible for everyone. That includes, they've actually given grants to people with motor impairments to have customized controls built so they can play video games. They've done hospital outreach.
Yep.
They do live streams every year to raise money for their events, for their grants and so forth. And they've also been closely affiliated with things like Awesome Games Done Quick for many, many years now. And they're a really cool organization. You should check them out at ablegamers.com. They have an accessibility review website that I don't remember, but it will be down in the description. And all that goodness will be there for you to check out. If you like this content, I would say like, comment, subscribe, but you know what? Share the damn video.
Yeah.
Share the video. This stuff is important. The only way to get people to do anything about anything is to make them aware. So the best thing you can do is share the video, give your feedback, and help us make Gimpy Bytes better with each episode. And I have been Captain Gimpy and continue to be. This was
Zen Burro.
Yeah. And we'll catch you on the flip side.